Are you aware that one of the men sentenced hung himself yesterday?
No.
61-year-old British man, thrown into jail as a political prisoner, has hung himself after being put on predominantly Muslim wings in jail. I've spoke to families and listened to the, I hope we get that confirmed, but the fact I've had contact of people, so it's not in the papers yet. I've had to listen to a voice out of a woman crying as her son was savagely battered in the showers. Another boy, 6 of them, got him in the cell. When they get you in the cell, they block the door. No one's coming in, bruv. You're getting hurt, badly hurt. These men weren't hardened criminals.
Is this the Southport?
This is the Southport and the rest of the country,
Right.
London. These men, prison is for hardened criminals who deserve to be there. These men didn't sell heroin. Fucking, they're retired train driver, bruv. They've worked all their life. And they're angry with their government because their government have failed time and time again. So, yeah, but the whole Conor Tomlinson thing, yeah, I am fully aware that the government are mobilising coaches from across the country because what didn't look great for them, it didn't just look great for them, it looked fucking great for us. The entire of Trafalgar Square was packed to the rafters with a sea of the best of Britain. And if that many people travelled there, anyone here knows how expensive it is to get to London, yeah? So those people would have sacrificed days out, meals, holidays, and they're all there. And they all went away having such a great day. And obviously we had a plan, which is my prison sentence will put, imagine I said all this and I didn't go to jail, but I've been fucking at it on my head for weeks and months and years. But a prison sentence, do you know, I've been waiting 3 years for this. 3 years, because I knew it was coming. So my only regret is I just didn't stand outside that court 3 years ago and play it. But it's all things work out in the end because the appetite wouldn't have been there, the momentum wouldn't have been there. I don't think it'd be on 53 million views. I just hope if there's one prayer I have, it's that Elon Musk shares this film when they send me to jail.
Let's talk about the Southport riots and what you mentioned. The mainstream media and online activists went haywire and accused you and Nigel Farage for, quote, stirring up the riots. Why do you think you and Farage were targeted? Well,
I don't know why I was targeted. I have no idea. Because I didn't share any false accusations. I act as a journalist. On this phone, I have a group. It's our Urban Scoop group. So before I post anything, I put it in the group. We have 2 unidentified people that no one even knows who they are, who are full-time employees to fact check, right? So if there's nothing reliable to say of who done something, we don't post it, right? So there's nothing. I didn't say I was a Muslim. I didn't say I was a failed asylum seeker. I didn't say a word. Nigel Farage, who wants to push the blame on me, he did. The silly prick. He fucking shared it. And then when he gets interviewed, he wants to say, well, I don't know why they're making out I'm a Tommy Robinson. I said, well, you're not a Tommy Robinson, Nigel, because I'm a legitimate journalist, bruv. I check my sources of information, yeah? I do deep investigations for my work. I don't just sit there with sound bites, which is what, unfortunately, that's what Nigel done. But I still wouldn't say Nigel, from that post, inflamed or stoked the riots. But why are they saying that? Well, the target's on both of us, isn't it? He seems to think that if he just keeps criticising me, he'll be all right. He'll be the good boy. Without realising it doesn't matter what he says or does. They'll come for him. He talks about issues they don't want him to talk about. So, with me, the minute I saw, do you know, I left the UK 27th of July, I get to the port, I'm detained under the Terrorism Act. Again, Nigel said I wasn't. Nigel said it was to do with a passport. Just pisses me off. Fucking come on, mate. He must have a research team. Nigel, if you ain't got a research team, hire one, right? You've got multi-millions of pounds. It will stop you saying things that are not right. And least of all when one of your citizens is having the abuse of the British establishment. Because when I was detained under the Terrorism Act for nothing, they read out a thing saying, we can do this under this article because we believe you may be preparing in the preparation of terrorism. Now, we know you're not. That's what I said. We know you're not. But this gives us the power to take your phone, give us your phone, and for the next 6 hours, you do not have a right to remain silent. That is a total abuse of a citizen's power. Least of all, a journalist. No one talked about it. The one person people would have hoped to talk about it would be reform. They're meant to be reform. Yeah? You've got 5 politicians in there, and I know they would have been bombarded by their own databases to talk about the fact he's being held under terrorism. And rather than come out and say, yes, this is abuse of power, this is wrong, to interview me for 6 hours where I don't know, what he basically said is, I'm going to ask you questions. If you don't answer them legitimately, you're breaking the Terrorism Act.
Yeah.
What's your plans? I said, what's my plans? What's your plans for the next 12 months? Who helps you on these events? Who's gave you funding for that event?
Right.
How much that event cost? Every question was so they, the establishment, can work out a way to stop legal and lawful journalism and activism. People should be outraged at that. And I had to answer every question. The first question was, how would you describe the UK? I said, a totalitarian shithole. Do you mind? I'm not someone that... So in this 6 hours, I spoke for every second of 6 hours. Yeah? He said, why is it a totalitarian shithole? You have just told me you're holding me under a legislation for acts of terrorism that you know I'm not involved in. But you're doing it so that you can go through my life, so that you can look, so that you can try and work out how you stop one of your citizens. And he said, one of their questions, how do you stop the Great Replacement? I said, I thought it was a conspiracy, sir. But I thought it was a conspiracy. And on those sort of conversations, I said, there's nothing you can do, lads. There's nothing you can do. Like, you are now, we're sitting here 6 hours. It's going to be going on outside. This is where they're fucked. It's going to be going on outside. People are going to be outraged, yeah? They asked me for my phone. I said, no, you're not getting my phone. It's as simple as that. Well, you're going to be charging. So, okay, arrest me, get me to court. So they arrested me, took me to a police station. On the 25th October, I have to go to court I have to go to a police station for the charge of disobeying an order under the terrorism legislation. So I'll probably be within the coming weeks, a convicted terrorist. A convicted terrorist.
How does that make you feel?
I'm a fucking journalist who opposes corruption of government. And John, I said to him, so you want access to this phone? Yeah? They asked me about episode 6 of the Rape of Britain. Now, in episode 6 of the Rape of Britain, we have managed to acquire covert recordings that put an allegation against a leading Labour politician. Yeah? We've handed them to the police. They make allegations of sexual assault against minors in the government buildings. You wonder why the Rape of Britain is allowed to continue in so many cities. They're all at it, yeah? So they know we've got that. The police know we've got that. But they don't know our sources. So in every case, in Rotherham, in Telford, in Oldham, every police force was getting rid of evidence. Every police force conspired from the top down to hide evidence. I said, you're fucking mental if you think I'm giving that phone. No. You can send me in jail for terrorism. When I meet girls and I meet trusted people and I give them my word, I've just done it again this week. So we have just sent money to someone today. We're moving their family. We're sending them on a holiday. It's one of the fathers who's in jail for the riots. When I sit down with anyone and I know what can come with, we'll get onto the little girl who's lost everything from a court case. I know what can come from sitting down and talking to us. So when I sit down, it's like the Rape of Britain. I said to the girls, even the ones that spoke to me, that I promise you I'll be there for the long haul, yeah? You can phone me at 2 a.m, I will help you. If I give you my word, which I'm giving you, whatever you want, we will help you with. So if you need to move house, and in one of the episodes we moved the family, the mum, we put their clothes in a storage accommodation, we've flown them, because that's the agreement I had with them. And she wasn't even meant to be in one of our episodes. She just said, I'll give you the information, I'll show you who they all are. I said, she goes, but I'm scared. I said, any blowbacks, I'll help you. So in this next documentary, it goes out on the 26th. I don't think we need it. But there will be security officers sat outside houses. Like that. Luckily, I'm in a position to do that because of the supporters at Urban Scoop. So, with these girls, which I explained to the police, with one of my victims, not my victims, but one of the victims in Telford, she was hiding in Wales. The police gave up her location. The police. So if you think I'm fucking giving you that phone so you can dig up and see every conversation I'm having with everyone about your boss Mark Rowley, about any plans we've got. The other thing is, whose addresses have I done this week? I find out where people are quite easily and quite quickly. The Daily Mail, when they track me down to, do you know the Daily Mail? This is the government, yeah? How people realise. So Theresa May, I set up a meeting with Theresa May when I was leading the English Defence League, and I set it up in one of her constituents' names. I went in, and I walked straight past him. It must be MI5 who's with her. She was Home Secretary. And I sat down in front of her. I said, Theresa, do you know who I am? She just sat there. I said, okay, let me introduce myself. My name's Tommy Robinson. I said, can I talk to you about your government policy? Because her government were very strong on Islamic extremism. I said, now can I talk to you about my hometown of Luton, which is a Labour-controlled town? It doesn't matter what your policy is. It don't fucking matter. Because in my town, the council are doing this, this and this. And I went through all the groups that are working together. So radical groups working embedded with the council, funding going to the radical groups. I said, so you conservatives, I was trying to say to her, you can make your plans and pass your shit. It's not reaching the towns it needs to. And then I showed her a video of a young English girl getting battered by a group of Muslim men, not battered. And I got my laptop out, just watch it, watch the video. She watched it. She said, I can't possibly comment. I said, you see as Home Secretary, if that video went viral like this, and it was a group of white men, and they were kicking the fuck out of a young Muslim girl in a hijab, you would comment. You'd be all over the news commenting. The Prime Minister would be commenting. Are our daughters not worth anything anymore? And then she said, I can't comment on any of this. And then she got up and left. Right. Now, by the time I got to, she must have wrote the article herself. By the time I got to the end of the road, there was breaking news on the Daily Mail. That's impossible. It's only me and her in a meeting. It was breaking news, Tommy Robinson ambushes Theresa May. And it was wrote up in a way that, because they didn't want me claiming legitimacy by saying I've just had a half hour Theresa May, to school her on their failures. So that link with the newspaper is a weapon of the established government. Each government comes in and changes the head of the newspaper, right? Like the BBC. So when all this blew up on the 27th of July, I go, and because I know this is coming now, what we're going back to face today, because I know it's coming out, I wanted 2 weeks of good memories with my kids. So I had a holiday booked from the year before. And I looked, and we're going to Cyprus. I landed in Cyprus, I'm there a day. The front page of the paper is me in the hotel. And when they put me in the hotel, they give the address of the hotel. They named the hotel. They named the hotel where my 3 kids are. They know I'm there for 2 weeks on the first fucking day. Now, I can't take risks. I don't care if I name where I am now, yeah? There was journalists here 2 days ago. I'll show you the video. You can clip it in here. Journalists are here 2 years. They're in this garden, video in this house. So wherever I go, people are sent to track me, to usually dox me. Now, I don't mind, but when I've got children with me, and it puts them in, and I was with 4 other families, so I had other men crying, scared. So I said, look, I'm going to leave. Yeah? My kids stayed. I said, I'm going to leave. Spent 1 day in a hotel room because Sky News, BBC, they all turned up at the hotel after it went in the Daily Mail. So when I'd done that, I said to my kids, the next day, I have a very good surveillance team. Yeah? Very, very good. Sorry. I had a very good surveillance team. So I got the journalists' names that were all involved. And I sent camera crews the next morning. And I got photos of all of their families coming out of their house. I got the editor of Daily Mail's wife at the window. Yeah. And then I got their numbers. And I sent them to them. And I rang the man up. And do you know how fucking raging I was? I was raging. I said, is it all right if I put their locations up? Just answer the fucking question as a man. Is it all right if I give all of my followers where your family are? I said, I'll tell you the fucking answer. No, it's not. No, it's not. I said, well, you need to sit your wife down now. And you need to tell her what you've just done to me. I said, because it's not okay. That's not journalism. That's not when you know I've got so many Osman warnings and threats against life. And Muslims were making videos. The hotel was getting bombarded. I left the next day. And I said, it's not all right. That ain't journalism. That is using the media as a weapon to lie. They say I was instigating the riots. No proof. If you want to say I'm instigating riots, come and charge me for instigating riots. Put me before a judge. When I get back, put me before a jury if you say I. There's not one single shred of it. Use ChatGPT. It says I didn't say anything. I didn't say a single word. All I said is stop lying. But they don't care when they've got the monopoly of the media. I think my video on X had 7 million views, which showed me saying, put the bricks down, take the mask off. Do you know what I felt very passionately, I still do, about the men that were in jail and the men that were on the streets angry? Is because when I was 25 years old, I was one of those men. I put a balaclava on in Luton and I run through the streets with 500 lads because we saw no other way. When anyone else riots, yeah, it's called the voice of the unheard. That's what the left portray it as. When the British public come out in absolute anger, betrayed by their entire nation, the safety of their mothers taken, the safety of their daughters taken. They fucking continually voted for 2 decades for closed borders, less immigration. And it's gone up, instead of promising 50,000 to 1.2 million. Now, when you go through the statistics and the numbers, and I challenge anyone to do this, type in Leeds refugee rape. It'll come up with a story of a woman who was going for a jog who was raped by a refugee. Type in York refugee rape. It'll come up with a story of, well, in fact, the BBC thought they could delete it. We archived it. So the BBC ran a great piece on this Afghan migrant who was here. Look how well he settled into the UK. He joined the fucking cricket team. Oh, great. No problems then. He went on to rape a woman walking home with his mate. Now, Oxford refugee rape, we actually interviewed the dad and a girl who was raped in our upcoming film. That rapist was housed in the migrant hotel. Do you know how many migrants? Just me, with no big team. I've tracked down 12 migrants that are staying in hotels that we're paying for in a hotel to get 3 meals a day. That have left that hotel and come out and raped. Put in Leicester refugee rape. You'll read the story of 2 refugees who raped a bloke. And when they're not put in hotels, put in military base rape Libyans. You read the story of 2 Libyans who were put in a military base and who raped a boy walking home he was on his bicycle. They grabbed him in the field and raped him. Put in, I can do this all day. There's not one single city, major city, that you can't do this for. So when I started looking through, thinking, far right, Keir Starmer's arguing that this is because of the far right. I'll tell you what this is because of. I'll tell you why the country's angry. Because you've opened our fucking borders to people who we know nothing about. You've brought in men that we pay for. We pay for them. You've put them in hotels that we didn't want them in. That the British public don't want them in. And it's not just that it's a problem that they're in the hotel. They're raping their way through our nation. Murders. Put in murders. I mean, you can do the same for murders. So in Hartlepool, for example, where people were protesting over the migrant hotel, if you Google it now, it'll just say far-right racist protest. As a Muslim left that hotel and stabbed a 70-year-old British pensioner to death on his way to buy a newspaper. Far right. Do you not think his family are angry? Do you not think everyone in Hartlepool's angry about the bastards you put in that hotel? I'm sorry for my language, but you have brought them in. It weren't the only person that geezer stabbed. He attempted to stab to death another man who had converted to Christianity. He done it for Gaza. I could do this all day. in the research to this film, we've got to try and cut it all into the film, but in the research to this film, you've told the entire world that the reason people on the streets of Great Britain is because of far-right ideology. It's because you've took their nation. It's because you've betrayed them. It's because you've endangered them. And when those 3 little girls got stabbed and 8 horrifically wounded, you attempted to treat the public like fools. You said you had to manage the information. We're not fucking stupid, all right? What was the motive? Why haven't you told us anything? How come there's been no more conversation? You directed all of the conversation onto the English Defence League, which
disbanded 10 years
disbanded
ago.
10 years prior. 50,000 of you work within the Home Office. Well, none of you knew that the EDL hadn't been around for 10 years, that there's no membership, that there's no organisation, there's no meetings. It was a very good government ploy to continue. What continues since those 3 little girls were horrifically brutally murdered? What continues since all these rapes and murders? Open, mass border, immigration, unvetted men are continually being brought in and housed in your community.
We hope you enjoyed this latest video from Vox Populi. To watch the full video for free, please check out our website at voxpopulimedia.com. Thank you for your support.